South Africa, and I'm here with my great friend Tim Adams, and we've planned this trip for about a year now, and it's been amazing. It's just an incredible landscape, and the people here are just off the chart incredible too. And we've had a wonderful hunt, and it's been a great process, and the team here, Likhulu, has just been amazing. Matt and Edward and everyone here is just so great, and we've been really happy with everything. And we've had some great hunts, and one of my favorite things is the management level that they employ here too, as far as shooting the animals too, as far as just only choosing mature trophy animals too. And that's been probably one of the best things that I've considered about the trip so far too. But the people are wonderful. Everybody we've met, here at camp and outside in the places that we've been, were just awesome folks.
So for me, this journey started probably about 15 years ago when I met Matt at Burnt Pine on some quail hunts. A buddy of mine, Bo Holland, and I would go quail hunting there for several years, and we always requested Matt and enjoyed his company. He shared some pictures and talked about his safaris, and Bo had been on a couple, and it really got me inspired. So that was the impetus behind this trip. I've kept in touch with Matt throughout the years, kept reading his emails he'd send, and just knew at some point that I would do this. And it was my 50th. It was my goal for my 50th birthday to do this, but that passed with COVID and various other conflicts. So finally last year, Rob and I were fishing or hunting or working on a job together. I can't remember what, but he always said to me, I'll go anywhere you want to go, hunting or fishing, whatever, I love it. So, and I knew that because we'd gone a lot of journeys together. And I said, Rob, let's go to Africa. And without a hesitation, he said, let's do it. So that's where we started this. And the planning started. We, all excited about it, reached out to Matt, got all the particulars, and that was a really smooth, easy process for us. I think Matt did a great job of putting together the information and making it very clear as to what we were getting into as far as what was needed and the total deal. But in no way could it set my expectations for what was to come. So lots of planning, lots of preparation, shooting lots of rounds to prepare for this trip was a lot of fun. Thinking about it, dreaming, envisioning how it would play out was really just an enjoyable experience up to the point of coming. And so we arrived on a Friday night, got in fairly late into Johannesburg, and it had been probably 13 years since I'd seen Matt, but recognized him immediately once we came out of the airport. And it was great to see him, big hugs, and met Gideon and Edward at the same time. And it's really kind of, the trip started there for us. And so long drive back here, we spotting game on the way, which is always fun to do, and just get excited about, what's to come for the next 10 days, and settled in. The next morning we got up, nice breakfast, took our time, slept in, definitely needed the rest, and then went to the range and shot, which was honestly pretty daunting, having everybody watch me shoot and nervous about missing the whole target. But fortunately both of us delivered, and we felt comfortable about our shots and where we're headed, and I think so did Matt and Edward. Nice lunch, and then we started our afternoon hunt, and really wasn't sure what to expect. Obviously, first time being here, I'm taking it all in, seeing the giraffes for the first time, and impalas, and all the different animals that I've read about and looked at pictures, and really fun. And just, sitting on this truck, driving through the bush, looking at all this was really a cool afternoon to start out with. And we'd been driving probably for an hour and a half, seen some animals, but nothing of any quality. And we stopped, and I'm not sure who picked up on, maybe Matt was, that we had seen 2 gemsbuck, and first time I'd ever seen one of those in real life, and that was pretty cool. And Matt looked at him and said, yeah, I think one of them's a shooter.
Well, I need to have a closer look at this standing right there. We at 130 at the moment. Okay. Okay, now there it goes.
He's facing us.
Yeah, he's facing us. He's kind of standing like this.
Do you want me to shoot? What do you think?
Can you see his body at all?
No, he just moved.
Yeah, he just dropped his head.
I see his head. Oh, I see him.
Yeah. So he's standing like this.
So if I aim below his chin on the left side, I should be good.
Yeah, in line with the ear.
Okay.
All right, see if you're comfortable with that.
Am I good?
Yeah.
I felt good about it.
So we started, with a really large water buck too for my first day on that hunt, and that was great too. It was a unique animal, and I'm very proud of it too. And so I was using my crossbow, and early that morning, the water buck had come in too with some other females, and it was only about 9 or 10 yards away too. So I made a good shot with my crossbow, and fortunately the animal did not go far, and that was probably my best trophy of all the trophies as far as maturity and uniqueness and size that was involved. And that was a fantastic memory for me. And every day beyond that, we've had great success too. So I've been able to shoot an impala there too with the crossbow, and that was quite a unique hunt. I hit him very well right through the heart, and he jumped actually a bit graphically over the water hole too, and landed in it. So he was only about 3 feet away from where I shot him. So that was great experience.
So we celebrated with a few beers and headed back to camp for a wonderful dinner, and we were all tired too from jet lag and went to bed. I didn't sleep well that first night. I think it just kind of the carryover of adjusting to a new time frame, and also think just so excited about the full day of hunting to come, and was super excited about the hunt. So we went back to that same area, and it's about a 35,000 acre piece, but we went to a different area, and Matt had said the day before that we're headed towards the mountains tomorrow, so we're going to be in a different area, which the first afternoon we hunted was flat, and we moved up the mountains, which to me was my favorite spot of this whole trip, and obviously we spent a lot of time there. And we parked it right inside the gate, and got out and started walking. The wind was kind of in our face the whole time, and we eased up. The sun was still kind of coming up a little bit, so it was really just a pretty morning, perfect temperatures, and walked, I would say, for a good hour or so, just easing up the hill, working our way through, and There's at one point where I could see kind of a large hedge line, and the light was coming through behind, and I could tell that there was a little bit of drop, and for some reason it just felt really gamey, and I could feel some intensity building. I don't know why, but it felt like something was going to happen. And as we continued down across that little ridge, we moved, probably walked for another, I would say 45 minutes or so, and Matt stopped and started glassing, and up ahead about 500 yards we could see some impala right and some thick stuff on an edge, which really became the first true stalk that I think I experienced here. So we kept pressing forward. I think we got probably about 40 yards from them, and we're waiting. We had a few females in front of us, and we could see the males in the back, and just they never would kind of really show themselves until finally we got one that started to come into a spot where we thought we would get an opportunity. And all of a sudden they all jumped up and ran almost straight towards us, and the females first and the rams behind them. And so Matt pulled up the sticks and said, "There's a shooter." We got on him. So I swung the gun to the right. He kept moving forward behind some brush again, so we moved the sticks again. As he passed by, I saw something gray in the back and said to Matt, "What is that?" And he looked up, and it was a wildebeest, a blue wildebeest, and there's another gap, and he looked over, and there was a mature wildebeest, and he said, "Shoot," threw up the sticks, and we shot.
So the following day, we wanted to hunt a kudu, which is one of the prime African animals too that a lot of folks want to shoot too. It just represents Africa in a good way, and the game hunting here too. So we went to Edward's farm and met his neighbor Bruce, who was a great guy, and Bruce let us hunt there on his property too. So we were in a built blind as well too, and had a first group of kudu that came in too. There was some females, and then there was a younger bull, but still a nice bull too. But I wasn't comfortable with the shot, so I was able to just let him pass too. And then an hour or so later, we had a couple other nice bulls that came in, and I was able to make a 34-yard shot on a very nice mature kudu. So that was extremely great experience, and very happy with the kudu. At the end of that first day, we actually found a sable out just in the field, grazing by himself too. So we all got out of the truck, and Edward and I went to the sable and made a great stalk too. We're able to take that with my .375. So one of the 2 gun kills that were made.
How's that first off?
Hunting most afternoon, stalking, coming across some impala, looking for some zebra, some different things. And we moved down kind of towards the bottom, which, down towards the third watering hole, as I call it, which is really down in a valley with mountains on both sides, which was pretty cool. And we're standing there, Matt starts glassing up this one mountain, and he looks at me, he says, yeah, there's some reedbuck up there. And, they were probably 300-400 yards away at this point. And I said, I can see them. They're on top of that cliff. So let's take a closer look. So we moved over closer, kind of cut the distance, the third, and he glassed. He said, there's a nice ram up there. And I really didn't know what a reedbuck looked like, to be honest with you. But he said it's a good one, and I thought it was really cool. And I was open to harvesting mature, really cool animals on my first experience. So we decided to go for it. And we moved across the bottom of the valley. They bumped a little bit and stood up and moved up the hill somewhat. And we got to about 160 yards. And Matt said, can you shoot him? I said, yeah, let's do it. And I had my 270 this time. And so I put it on him, squeezed the trigger, and shot right over his back. And he jumped up, moved up a little bit. I put in another shell and shot, which was rushed, hurried, and really shot, I think hit to the left. And Matt said, just calm down, take your time. And at this point, he was facing away from me, so really all he had was his backside to shoot. So just put it right in the middle of his back and pull the trigger. So that's what I did. We didn't see dust. We felt like we had hit him. We looked at the video Gideon had, and we could definitely confirm that it seemed like he was hit. But we couldn't really tell how well and how hard. So we noticed, we saw him leave the area, and we didn't know how far, so we worked our way up there. And after a short time, we did find some blood. So we knew that we had something, but we all were feeling that it was kind of a minor hit, but nothing major. But we continued to look until dark, basically. And we, at some point, just ran out of light and felt like we needed to stop. And we had trailed him for about 150 yards. Went home, and I was back to the lodge, and I was obviously very disappointed. I wish I had taken my time and focused on the first shot and not tried to overthink it, but I did. And so that night I really thought long and hard about it. But the next morning we made a plan to go back. We were going to look for him for a couple hours. Quercy and Eric from the property, and then I believe it was Joe, came, and they went up there, and we stayed back to watch in case if we saw him running. So we were glassing the mountainside while they were looking for him. And after about 20 minutes, I noticed that they all stopped and turned around and went back. And I really thought, okay, that's it. They can't find him. It's over. And Matt whistles, and I see him. He's telling me to come up, and he said they found him. So finding him, and really cool moment to actually come full circle on that animal that I thought for sure was gone. And we had really low percentage that we'd find him. So it was just an amazing way to end that hunt and capture that animal and bring him home.
Then we started working on the buffalo, and we had a full day of stalking too, which was great. And then the following day we got up and continued on the buffalo too. And fortunately that morning we found a group, and it was a pretty large group too. And so we were in thick brush, and they were all around us too, which was a bit of a scary situation too. So we kept moving, and Edward was extremely persistent, as he always was with each of every hunt too. And so we followed the buffalo and ended up getting to about 60 yards, and I was able to make a shot.
He's looking at us on the shoulder, you can shoot him. The shoulder, they're standing towards us, just a little in front of the shoulder. Nice, he's down.
All right.
Just watch him. I think he shot off his neck. That's perfect. Okay, let's wait for the other buffalo to move off. Kudu, you can take the sticks. Okay, keep our eyes on the other buffalo. Let's not interfere for now. I want the other one to move away for our own safety and for theirs as well. I don't want to shoot another buffalo today. One is enough. Yeah. Now the problem is making noise. That death bellow is attracting the other buffaloes. So let's give him a minute. He's not going anywhere. I think you spined him, which is good. He'll stay down. I know it's difficult, but if you can hit him anywhere somewhere close to the shoulder, I know it's difficult, but just hit him where you can. The shoulder is on the ground. Okay, hit him again, hit him again. See. Nice. It's okay, that's okay.
So after a big rush of shooting several animals each day, we went into a point where we were doing a lot of scouting, and not really scouting, but looking and tracking, and not really finding anything of substance that we wanted to shoot. I did enjoy it. It was really fun kind of exploring, seeing the property, hunting, really hunting. And then the third day after that was my day to go buffalo hunting, which to me was obviously one of the big deals on this trip. My first buffalo. I've watched all the scary videos. I've seen all the mistakes, all that stuff's playing through my head that morning. And I also kept reminding myself that, I've practiced for this moment. I've really worked hard for this moment. And even at home, I bought a full-size buffalo target to shoot at, which I knew it really wouldn't prepare me too much, but it was just kind of a fun thing to do. But nonetheless, it helped me understand how big these creatures really are. So we got off. It was fairly quick. We, hadn't been hunting that long, but we got off the truck and we walked about 150 yards And Matt looks back at me and goes, "Do you want to shoot one right now?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." So we're committed. And so we started stalking and looking, and Matt seemed to think there was a really good one in the back, but he really wanted to get a good look at it. And so we kind of took our time, eased through. And at one point, we bumped a couple of them that took off to our left, crashing through the trees. We never saw them, but they were fairly close. And I think it starts to really imprint in your mind how big these creatures are and the magnitude about what you're getting into. And so they pushed out of there fairly quickly, and we moved forward. I could really start to see the herd forming. There were several straight out that kind of moved back away from us. They spooked. There was another group off to the right, and they spooked and ran in the dust and through the trees, and could see them disappear. But there was another group that kind of hung back and pushed from right to left. And that's when Matt said, "There's a good one there. There's a shooter, and he's really old, and it's one we want to go after." So we were moving up, and he came across behind some brush, and there were two of them, and he turned and faced us, and the other one was behind him and kind of somewhat in the way. So Matt threw up the stick and said, "Just wait. We got to wait a second. Let's see. Let's give him a second to get this other one out of the way." And then he moved off a little bit, and this buffalo was staring straight at me. And Matt said, "Okay, let's do it," and reminded me where to shoot. And I laid down on it and squeezed the trigger, and we heard the loud thud, and we all felt like it was a really solid hit. And
Shoot him again? I heard it hit though. Yeah. And it was a good shot. I felt really good about it. I felt really good right here.
Quite a release. He dropped his left shoulder and turned and ran and disappeared behind some stuff. I really didn't have a chance for a follow-up shot because he went behind this big pile of brush. And so we stood there for a minute, all kind of just exhilarated by what had just happened and the thrill of it, and also just trying to take in that moment for a second and give him a minute to not go too far. So we started taking a few steps, and we heard the first death bellow. Which is something I really, really wanted to experience, and definitely was pretty amazing to hear that and just know kind of the magnitude of what we're dealing with. We kept pressing forward, and I think we went about 50 yards from where we shot him, and could continue to hear the death bellow, which kind of led us to him. And as we got really close to him, it was pretty clear that he wasn't going anywhere, and let out another death bellow. And Matt said, "Let's put one more in him just to be safe and just to finish him off properly." So we did that, waited a minute or two, and went around. Yes. What do we do?
We have a little celebration to do.
All right.
You guys are part of our Dagga Boy Club.
Oh,
Not everyone can be part of that. You have to kill a Cape buffalo, old Dagga Bull. And you both accomplished it. So, Mr. Rob, we have a little something to congratulate you. We did some hard hunting, some blood, sweat, and tears, but we got the job done, and that's what it's about. So,
Yeah, and both of-
congratulations. There's a
well, thank you.
little certificate. You can frame it and put it up in your house.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother.
And both of you guys shot
Hunting it is.
awesome buffaloes. And
Then
a little trophy while you wait for your buffalo
No, that's gonna be the hard part.
to come. Exactly.
The waiting is gonna be hard.
But yeah, we appreciate you guys, and this is just a little something stupid.
That's really cool.
But yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
Huh? Oh, it's still a video. Now we're just looking gay.
We spent a lot of time, more than you.
It was a great memory for me. It was a unique experience, and it's just unusual having something shooting or hunting a dangerous game, rather too, that that can also come after you as well. So that was very unique. And then we got back in the bow blind the following day, and we had an impala that came in. It was a very nice impala, and fortunately I missed it. And then next we had a warthog that came in too, and I made a shot on that and hit it, and we tracked it for quite some time too, for a couple hours, but were unsuccessful in finding it. However, Reno, who's on the property here too, found it a couple days later too at the airstrip. So it was great to recover that animal. So the following day, and this was day number 7, I believe too, so we were very fortunate that we went 7 days and were able to obtain 7 animals during that time frame. So we had pulled into Edward's property and seen a Nyala, and he was by himself, which Edward always likes, seeing those males by themselves as well too. They're a bit easier to approach. So we went in and stalked that Nyala, and then he had moved away from us too a little bit, so we kept tracking him, and then ultimately found him, in the bush, and I was able to make a 20-yard shot on the Nyala.
Good shot. Good shot. Good shot. Oh, one happy hunter. Nice.
We went through the arduous process of loading this beast up, and I've actually really enjoyed seeing how it's done, because it's pretty amazing how big these things are. And somehow they managed to get it in this truck, and I think everybody in my family asked, how did they do that, which is pretty cool. I took some videos of that. But we left there and we headed back to camp, and as we were leaving, Matt pointed out some golden wildebeest, and absolutely gorgeous creatures, and I thought, I think I really want to hunt one of those and add that to my collection as a kind of a pair to the blue wildebeest. So we put that plan in action, went back to that property, and headed out. And it was later in the afternoon, I think probably around 4:30, we got on the first one. Really dusty and kind of messy, and he was a little skittish. Eventually we couldn't keep up with him. He moved on, so we jumped back on the truck and cruised around for a little while, and then found a large group of them, and one with a really, really nice old bull that we were able to kind of target him. And so we got off and stalked for a little bit, and then the main herd spooked and ran off, and he stood up, and it was kind of a quartering to shot, and we shot, and fortunately he went right down within 30 yards. So on our third day of kudu hunting over in the mountains, Rob and Edward joined us along with their team, and the plan was to get together. We're going to set them at one watering hole. We had dropped off William at another watering hole, and we were building 2 hides down at the third watering hole to force the kudu, force their hand to come down to that watering hole. So we moved up that direction and made a couple turns, and we're kind of easing along, and all of a sudden we came around a corner and there were several cow kudu, and we're like, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe it's in, maybe it's time. So we jumped off up the road. Rob and Edward took off, and then we worked our way back down to them. And we got to a point where Matt had a good kind of view of them, and they were pretty calm. They had settled down. They were sunning themselves at that point, and Matt said, okay, that's him, let's go. So we eased on down the road a bit more, got within probably 140 yards of them, threw up the sticks, and he was standing there broadside and opening, but I could not see his head. And so I paused for just a second, and then I saw his horns, and Matt put up the sticks and said, let's hope he comes through here. And sure enough, he came right behind them, kind of quartering away, and Matt said, put it on his rib, put it on his back rib, and I did, and squeezed the trigger, and we heard the loud thud, and we knew we'd hit him hard. And I threw in another shell, but couldn't get another follow-up shot on it. He disappeared back behind, and quite a range of emotions initially. Just could not believe that it had all come together after all these days of hunting, but then also kind of that experience of the zebra and losing the zebra, and just so we're like, let's give it a second. We go down there, and once again we can't find blood, and I really was having a hard time. It was disappointing, that whole range of emotions of I'd really been waiting for this opportunity, and then thinking that we lost the zebra for some similar thing. We could not find any blood anywhere. So Matt was moving down away from us, and all of a sudden he whistled, and there he was, and he found him. So it's a pretty amazing ending to a long journey chasing that animal, and pretty exhilarating to finally get my hands on him.
I don't want to focus on my ass anymore.
It's just too much to you. He's not going to go anywhere.
We got back on track and moved on down a little further, and Matt stops and says, oh, a sable, a really nice sable. But he's still in some bushes a little bit, and Matt asked Gideon to start taking some pictures for the website and different things, and all of a sudden he steps out, and Matt goes, that's a really big sable. That's a really good one. He's old, do you want to shoot him? And I'm like, throw the sticks up. So we threw the sticks up. I squeezed the trigger, and he dropped straight down.
The tip of the shoulder.
That's a hell of a way to end it. Oh man, that's a surprise. Would you say how things change quickly? Holy shit.
Oh man, you fucked up the budget.
We did fuck up my budget. You can tell my wife it's your frickin' fault. Oh, he's bigger than Rob's.
Good shooting.
I think I drilled him.
Yeah.
It was a great experience, and can't say enough about, Edward and his abilities and his persistence and all that he did, with me. He's the most polite person I think I've ever met, and he was fantastic to be around the whole time. And it made my experience, that much better, having him nearby, being able to trust him as an experienced PH. Everyone has been so great, from everyone that works here, all the skinners and trackers and kitchen staff as well too. Marius and Jacqueline made some incredible meals for us, and we were cared for so well, and everyone was so attentive to everything that we did. And it's such a great setup here overall. It's just an amazing group of properties that they have access to, and they're unique in the fact that we've got a bow-only atmosphere right here near the camp, and every other property was just very different and fantastic to hunt on, and I felt great, in every place that I was. All the land managers and everyone surrounding us was fantastic, to work with, and really have some great memories of just getting to know the people here. This trip took a lot of planning and a lot of time, and never been gone for 2 weeks at a stretch too, and it was a relief. And you just you just let your wind out. It feels so good, to relax and not worry about anything at home work wise. So it's been just fantastic experience here, and I couldn't say better things about the people and the atmosphere and their ability to find trophy animals as well too, which is important. We're not just shooting anything. We passed up many animals too in search of very mature animals, and that was very important to me. So it's been a super experience, and I can't say enough good things about Likhulu.
I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity and really have enjoyed every moment. I told myself starting the safari that I want to take my time and embrace each moment of the day, and I really feel like I did that. And I'm really grateful to Matt and Likhulu Safaris for putting all this together and just being very patient with me, but being an excellent PH, and grateful to, thank you to, the team behind him. Everybody here has been wonderful, and really enjoyed getting to know Kuda and Clear Sea through this experience most of all, just because they were with me the most time. But just thank you to everybody, and thank you to Gideon for capturing all these amazing moments. And I still have an Impala to come back for.